What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, well, the Dec-B proposal has passed, and so by the slimmest of margins, only 69% for out of the required minimum 66%. So it was a close vote, but I'll be interested to see where things lead from here. So if we take a look at the current kind of token circulation analysis and see that vouchers, there's roughly 7 million currently in circulation. Then for DEC, there's been a nice slow and steady burn on DEC. And in fact, let's go over to Splinter cards for a second. We can see, I'll go ahead and refresh this. We are seeing about 1 million, maybe a little bit more than 1 million DEC being burned per day on average over the past month. And you know, we'll see if that'll continue to increase over time. I know right now guilds are the only area in which the DEC supply is reduced. I guess potions to a certain extent too, but that really got nerfed with the potion multiplier in the higher leagues. So we're getting about 1 million DEC per day. Of course, if we let that run until the end of the year, it's really not going to burn through much. So we do want to see more syncs come in, and you know, guild alliances, potentially promo cards is another thing, could all pop up. So looking at where things are at now, and let me go ahead and just bring the calculator out here, because we have the implementation of this is set for the end of January. At least that's what they were targeting in the post. We haven't heard any updates yet, but obviously it just passed. So I assume they hadn't begun any work on it beforehand, because you just don't want to put or allocate the resources unless you know it is going to be passed for sure. So now that it is, we're hoping that it can get out in the next 3 weeks. Now keep in mind, there's 3 more release dates or release maintenance windows within the month of January, because we got 31 days. So the 17th, the 24th, and then the 31st, the final day of January, will be one as well. So I assume that it'll come out probably by the end of January on that 31st, unless they can pull it up sooner, which would be great. But let's go ahead and actually see what that means then, because we are still printing a crazy amount of vouchers. So 40,000 vouchers per day times 21 days is going to get us, this is why the voucher inflation is absolutely insane. It's going to get us 840,000, almost another million vouchers by the end of the month, just in 3 weeks. Unless I'm not doing the math right, that seems like where we are at. So you add that to roughly where we have right now. So 7.0506 million. Let's just say for a nice clean, there's going to be roughly 8 million vouchers in circulation by the time this goes live. So the numbers that were given previously are going to be altered, because again, if all vouchers are used, which I don't think will be the case, but if all vouchers are used, that would mean that 8 million vouchers times the 200 DEC-B that would be received would be 1.6 billion out of the total 2 billion. So that doesn't leave much for DEC. Now, I was hoping that this would be a significant DEC burn. I still think it can and will be, but I don't know what the mix between vouchers and DEC is going to be. So as you can see, the vouchers have actually pumped significantly over the past couple of days, with the fact that this looked like it was going to pass. So where are vouchers at right now? They are over 9 cents, almost 10 cents. So this is, you know, where it was at like 7.5 cents a little while ago. That's a clean at least 20, maybe even 30% gain. So anybody who played that trade, well done. I was not one of you. I usually sit these things out, but it was a nice trade if you were able to get the bottom, time the bottom correctly, and maybe you still ride this thing out. But where that leaves us with DEC currently at 0.00059, we'll call it 600 splintoshis, means that vouchers could, now again, I need to be very clear. This is not financial advice. I'm not saying that it's going to go there, and I'm not telling you to even do it, right? But all I'm trying to say is where are vouchers technically valued at based on where DEC is at? Because if a voucher is going to get you 200 DECB, for example, right, then that would mean that, you know, each voucher should be at roughly 20 cents. Now, clearly, we're not even close to 20 cents right now, but since DEC is at a lower level, right, since DEC is at 40% below its peg, you can kind of proxy it so that vouchers at this point in time would be worth roughly 12 cents, right? Yeah, so it's about 40% decrease from 20 cents. So again, I'm not saying that they're going to pump up there. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, maybe they go higher. Who knows? We'll see what the demand looks like. Obviously, there are people way smarter than me with their spreadsheets that are going to arbitrage the crap out of this. So I very much assume that vouchers are always going to be wherever the market, I'm saying the obvious now, right? They'll always be where the market determines them to be. No, they'll always be where, the people who are really on top of this and trying to arbitrage the best, whether that's a bot, whether that's a human, whether that's a spreadsheet, is going to find that equilibrium price. So I don't know what happens with DECB. I don't know how quickly or how slowly it sells out. I don't know what the mix will be, but my hope is that regardless of what it is, we can burn through one of these at the very least. We can get rid of a good amount of either vouchers, or we can get rid of a good amount of DEC. Now, the thing is with DEC, let's say everything was used for DEC. Well, then that's still not enough, right? Because we have 6.2 billion and we're only planning to burn 1.6 billion out of that. Now, that could still move things significantly considering, and let's go back here to Peak Monsters, considering that a large amount of this is held either by the team or in bridges. Again, what is this? 2.9 million that's currently in, this is like liquidity pools as well, but you can see that SL Cold, SMUSD, these are all team wallets. Then you got the bridges. So it could still move things. Here's where I want to be very clear. I don't expect DECB, at least this proposal that has passed, with only 2 billion of them available. I do not expect it to push things all the way back to peg. That's just not going to happen. Not in this format. There needs to be more, and I would have voted for a higher number, 3, 4, 5, 6 billion even. I think would have been great because we are going to need it, and I think the demand is going to be fine for the future. But on the whole, however much this gets pushed up, I feel like is going to be deemed either a success or a failure by the community. So I want to be able to set that kind of set that expectation, or level set the expectation that this is not going to get us back to peg, like not by far. But what it can do is help us eat through a good amount of vouchers and hopefully raise the floor price for, not even the floor price, but just the equilibrium price for vouchers at this point in time for more syncs to come in, right? So this goes live at the end of January, fingers crossed. We eat through a lot of the things through February, and at that point in time, keep in mind, I guess we're doing like roughly 1 million, maybe 1.1, 1.2 million like vouchers per month. But if it eats up a lot of vouchers, let's say we get guild alliances sometime in March. Let's say we get another promo card late Q1, early Q2. Those could be more potential syncs. Now, again, those aren't necessarily burns for DEC. Well, the guild alliances would be, but I don't know about the upcoming promo card, so we'll see. But either way, I think that this is going to help a lot in moving the needle. And my hope is that the community will see it as a success, even if we don't hit the higher numbers. Like I said, I don't know what happens to DEC, but I'm assuming that we can get at least a little bit higher than 600 Splintoshis. Vouchers, I think, is, this seems to be an opportunity to use vouchers in a constructive way for the future. And I wonder if many people who are high, high holders, let's put it that way, large holders of vouchers will end up using this as kind of like an exit strategy for investing further in the game. You're getting like a 20% return on your vouchers, but at the same time, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the best place to use vouchers if you think vouchers could go up in the future too. So who knows how it'll go. I will say this though, I'm excited about it, and I hope that if it is successful, or people deem it successful, we can get a second proposal in for it within Q1. I think would be great. And I know people are going to disagree heavily with that, but I'm not saying we should do it automatically. I'm saying that I want this to move the market a certain amount, and then we can come in not base, but like analyze what worked well, what didn't work well, and then move forward with that. But I do hope if we do a second one, it continues to stay soulbound. Oh my goodness, I'm struggling at the end of this video, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. But I do hope that it stays soulbound and that none of none of the major issues that people have with it are readdressed or brought back up to the surface. So let me know your thoughts on this below. I know many people voted against it. So I have a question for those who voted against it and who are still actively now against it. What are the criteria? What are the criteria in which you would change your mind and say, I was wrong? I was wrong. This ended up being a positive thing for the game economy, right? Because I think it's important to put that out now on paper, because if we can reach those goals, and again, keep them attainable. I mean, if you're expecting it to go to peg, I highly doubt that's going to happen, or vouchers to go to like $1, that's not going to happen. But if this looks successful for somebody who is on the opposite side of the fence, what does that need to look like? And so I'm very curious to get your feedback. And for those, actually, I'll open it up to everybody. If you did vote for it, let me know what you would deem successful for this. Like I said, it's hard to put numbers on it, and creating a video, I don't want it to seem like I'm trying to make price predictions. I do think that it's going to help both tokens specifically, but I don't know where things are going to go. But I would love to hear your thoughts, and I think it's safer to put price predictions in the comments section than in a video like this, where people think that I actually know what's going on, but I don't. So we can just speculate and have fun in the comments, and I would love to hear your perspective. So that is all I have for you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next one, and see you around the game. Take care.